What if Goku was Yamoshi's Descendant Part 3? Now, last that we remember, there was finally peace, as Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, and Nappa. They were the last Saiyans remaining, and they all escaped the might of Frieza, and they are now on Earth living at peace, for about a year or so. Then, a time ship would then arrive, and who was it? None other than Gohan. But Gohan here was older, and he had some scars on his face. He looks very similar to future Gohan, which we'll just use for reference here, not to just go into too much detail. And yes, he still does have his arm, so it's not the armless Gohan, and but I would say he does have more battle scars, like cuts and battle damage on him way more. Now, Gohan would, of course, go to find Goku, which he's obviously at Chi-Chi's home, where they are resting and residing. Now, the first person who would meet him would actually be Raditz. Now, Raditz would meet Gohan here, and Gohan would actually smile a little bit. He was so happy to see his uncle. It's been so many years. So many years. Now, Raditz doesn't know who the hell this guy is, but he's dressed like Goku, he kind of resembles Goku, and his power level was pretty off the charts. Now, Gohan says, listen, I'm not here to cause any problems, I'm here to see Son Goku. Now, Goku would come out, and Goku would say, hey, who are you? And Goku's like, you look very familiar somehow, and you got my G, how do you have my clothes? Are you trying to copy my style? Now, of course, Gohan would then say who he is, that he is his son. And he says that he came from the future to warn him about these future androids that are going to be arriving. And a monster called Cell. Now Goku states, oh, well then, shouldn't we have stopped him? I mean, I'm super strong. And Gohan states, well, the first thing what happened is you got very sick to a heart virus. But luckily, your new form and your energy was able to heal it. Yes, the Super Saiyan God power has healing abilities, and it would save Goku's life. But that's not the downside. He says that once when Goku was actually just recovering from that, as it made his body weaker, the androids attacked. Now, go on to say that these androids are as strong as Goku. They're actually a lot more stronger than Goku. Far stronger than he was. Goku was not prepared, but Goku did everything he could so that him and Raditz can escape just in time. And they can also get Chi-Chi out of there. The androids fulfilled their mission, and they actually killed Goku. Goku's dead. They killed Goku. Now, once when Vegeta and Nappa arrived, they both had their own forms. As Gohan stated, it was a golden form that had blue eyes, and their hair was a bit more different looking. But it was a pretty powerful form. That form had nothing on these androids. They killed Nappa. They killed Vegeta. And then soon, Raditz wanted revenge against his brother. So Raditz attacked the androids. But it wasn't the androids that he actually was able to get killed by. It was another creature, and he named himself Cell. And he easily dispatched Raditz and killed him, before the androids could even get to him. Now Gohan was with the young man and Vegeta's son, Trunks. Now as soon as he said that, Goku would fall over and say, what? Vegeta has a son? Well, who's the mother? And Gohan kind of, a little bit red-faced, he said, well, kind of surprising, it's actually Bulma. And this would make Goku and Raditz fall over. Bulma? Dating Vegeta? And they actually had a kid? Well, that's kind of a shocker, but I guess they're kind of similar in terms of them being very prideful. Now, of course, Gohan states, yeah, and they had Trunks, who is a very good young man, and he's trying to help him train him since Trunks has amazing potential himself. And Gohan states that every time that I train to try to get stronger, these androids don't seem to have a limit to their power. Every time he grows stronger, he goes to fight them, he just keeps on getting destroyed and nearly killed. And this version of Gohan here is very similar to the future Gohan. He kind of lost the true will to train. Because haven't y'all noticed the fact that Gohan's potential is so busted, if he just did really rigorous training for the next couple of months, or even couple training sessions, his power level could have exploded. If you remember, Gohan trained for a couple training sessions with Piccolo, and he was able to go from being pretty much nearly killed to try to go into Mystic form and getting nearly killed by First Form Frieza when he came back, to being able to fight on par with the Super Saiyan Blue. So, you guys see what I'm saying? It's kind of weird how they didn't go into that, but at the same time, they wanted the androids to be menacing, and they obviously knew that Gohan's potential was great, but it's just different times of the story had different kind of power scaling as well. But Gohan states that, yeah, even with all of his training, and everything else, he still could not defeat this monsters. They are relentless. They are cruel. Their energy has no limit. And this creature, Cell, is even worse. For some reason, he's looking for the androids, but he doesn't know why. He knows that Cell wants to find them more than anything. He doesn't know why. He doesn't know if he wants to destroy them or work with them or something. He does not know. But he tells Goku that in 3 years' time, the androids will arrive at this certain location at the certain time. The exact same as what Trunks told Goku. And of course he says, I cannot stay here for long as I want to go back there to make sure that Trunks and Bulma's okay. Now Goku states, well, what about everybody else, the other Z fighters? Because he didn't say them all. He said, they're all dead. The androids killed every single one of their friends. The only survivors is him, Bulma, Chi-Chi, and sadly, Trunks. That's it. Sadly, that's it. There's nobody else. And there's obviously still plenty of human life on the planet, but they're all in hiding. They're all underground. They're all secretly away. And Goku says, well, why not use the Dragon Balls? And Gohan's like, well, sadly, Kami was killed. And on top of that, Piccolo was killed as well, as the androids found the Kami lookout, and they completely obliterated it, meaning that there is nothing. The Dragon Balls are gone. And then Goku's like, oh, wait a minute, why don't you just go to Namek? Bulma can get a spaceship, you can fly your way over to Namek, no problem, and there you go, you can get the Dragon Balls. Now, Gohan thinks about that, and he's like, yeah, but the problem is that we don't know where the planet is. The planet was moved. Now, Goku says, well, how did they move a planet? And he's like, well, apparently, ever since the terms of Frieza came along, the Namekians worked together, and they used the Dragon Balls. As, remember, once when Elder Guru dies, a new Elder will appear, and he'll revitalize the Dragon Balls. They actually use the Dragon Balls to move it to a new location, just so other Frieza soldiers or anybody with his family cannot follow them. Which Goku says, oh man, that really sucks. Well, alright, I understand completely. Well, we'll go do that. So Gohan obviously wants to spar his father first. Goku says, alright, a little bit of a one-on-one. And of course, they would go back and forth. Goku would showcase his Super Saiyan God evolution, which Gohan smiled and said, Father, you are just as strong as I remember. Gohan here would turn Super Saiyan God. How is this possible? Well, being that he is of Goku's blood, he is kind of in the line of a descendant. Now, I know a lot of the comments before was like, well, Raditz is a part of Goku's family, so that means that he has Super Saiyan God too. No. If that's the case, then Bardock has Super Saiyan God, and if Turles was canon, he would have Super Saiyan God. Then what's the point of doing the what if Bardock was that strong and he could turn Super Saiyan God? He could have killed Frieza instantly and became the new king of the Saiyans pretty much at that point. But no, just because you're a descendant doesn't mean that you have the traits, all the traits and the genetics of that descendant. So it's sometimes, let's say that your mother and your father was intellectual geniuses, the highest IQ in the world. Then you're born, you might not have that genetic gift. But then let's say that you have a son and they have that genetic gift of the grandparents. It's very similar thing with eye color, skin color, everything. And it's very different in athleticism and mental smart, physical, and everything else. So that's the reason why. Bardock's generation was skipped. And Goku was the lucky one to be able to get it. Goku was the next generation. Now, Raditz does have some of the traits. He does not have the Super Saiyan God trait to where he possesses God Ki like Yamoshi did. But Raditz does have the genetics of Yamoshi's potential, which is what Goku has as well. Now, once when Gohan was born, he has an even higher potential than before, alongside with the genetics, and he also has forms of God Ki. Not as much as Goku did, as Goku was just born and he could tap into it, but Gohan does have latent God Ki within him. Which is why future Gohan can go Super Saiyan God, is because during these 3 years, Goku would train with Gohan, and as Gohan matures and gets a little bit older, he would start to access Super Saiyan God. That is the reason why. And also with self-training, Gohan can do it himself, as Goku would teach him what Kami and the others were teaching him about honing his God Ki. So that is the reason why future Gohan can turn Super Saiyan God. Now, back to the what if. After they would do a little sparring back and forth, Goku was stronger than future Gohan, especially in the evolution state, but Gohan was not a pushover at all, and Gohan was very powerful. And Gohan was happy seeing that his father was stronger than ever, but then he would have to leave, going back to the future of his timeline to hold off the androids and help train Trunks. Now, During these 3 years, Goku would train with Gohan, Piccolo, and Raditz. Now, Nappa and Vegeta are really pissed because they are well left behind. And on top of that, they're going to have to find a new power. Now, during these 3 years, Vegeta would actually figure out Super Saiyan. He would actually figure it out a lot earlier than the original because of the clear thing that he was in the shadow of Goku so much that he would get way more angry, faster, and just snap. As for Nappa, I feel like after Vegeta gets it, Nappa would be enraged as well. Very similar moment to what Vegeta had, and he would turn Super Saiyan himself, as they know that increasing emotions does cause that. So, Nappa and Vegeta would be training beyond hard together in the gravity room in Super Saiyan to get as powerful as possible for these androids, as they all know about it now, especially Piccolo told them all. But now, Goku states that, well, why don't you try talking to Kami to see what else that you can do? Maybe Kami can help you, or something like that. Obviously, Piccolo doesn't want nothing to do with Kami. He hates him. Who doesn't? But Goku says, why don't you go try? Maybe you can go help Kami in some way, or also protect the lookout if the androids do arrive. So at least you and Kami are together, just in case you can protect each other. Piccolo understands that, and he would leave. Now, as Piccolo would go see Kami, Kami was getting old, he was getting weak. He was at the end of his lifeline on his last Namekian green leg. Now, he would explain to Piccolo that if we fuse, we will become perfect once again. Piccolo is very much against it, but Kami says, it is life and death here. You gotta understand that if we fuse, you can maybe become as powerful as Goku is. Now, Piccolo thinks about it, and Piccolo says, you know what, fine, but I'm in control of the ship, not you. Kami understands, they fuse as it was Piccolo no more. It was the nameless Namekian. It was still Piccolo, but that's what he said. Now, Piccolo here is way more powerful than the original. Why? Because Piccolo is training with god-level beings, not to mention a Super Saiyan God Goku, where he's getting his butt whooped every day. He has a higher potential to try to work hard and study, because if people don't remember, Piccolo has amazing potential, but no one really ever looks at it. Only very recently in Dragon Ball Superhero, which sucks. I mean, Piccolo has amazing potential to where he can rival mastered mastered Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta. Like, that is just insanity. But now, obviously, Piccolo, with Kami now, he will begin training harder than ever. This version of Piccolo is easily as strong as Master Super Saiyan Goku or Super Saiyan Teen Gohan when they fought in the Cell Saga. And that's not a crazy feat, and that's not a crazy far-fetched. As for Nappa and Vegeta, they are around the same level at that point, maybe a little bit stronger than Piccolo. Now, as for Gohan here, Gohan is a lot more powerful than Nappa and Vegeta. I'm just saying that outright. This version of Gohan can turn Super Saiyan God. We have a Super Saiyan God Teen Gohan. Now, as for Raditz. Now, Raditz here, having the same potential as Gohan, even higher, alongside with Goku, he is pretty much a little bit stronger than Gohan. I would say comfortably he's a bit more stronger in terms of forms. Now Raditz here does not have Super Saiyan God. He's on the short end of the stick. But he does learn Super Saiyan, because Raditz's base form is very powerful, and on Super Saiyan he can kind of keep up with the other guys. But now, obviously, when Gohan does turn Super Saiyan God, he far surpasses everybody else. Now, Goku here is obviously the strongest of the bunch. He is far stronger. He's far strong. It's not even a comparison. Him and Super Saiyan God is easily higher than Super Buu, or possibly on the levels of Vegito. I can say that comfortably. And that's not far-fetched. That's kind of nerfing him a little bit, but I don't want Goku to be so overpowered to where he defeats everything in his path. Now, 3 years go by. Dr. Gero and Android 19 would appear. Now, obviously, future Gohan would also appear as well to help fight them, as he stated that this is not the two real androids, they're weaker, but why are they here? Now, obviously, as Goku would be fighting Android 19, who is extremely powerful, Dr. Gero was really powerful as well. Goku was kind of mopping the floor with him, as it was very similar to the original. But Goku starts to sweat and get weaker and weaker. It was the heart virus. It was attacking him. But, luckily, there's no medicine needed because the Super Saiyan God power will kill off the heart virus, but it will take some time to do so. As Goku would have a glow around his chest, it was almost like a fire. It was starting to heal his heart. But now this would take possibly days. As for Goku, it will take a couple hours for it to be killed, but his body will be severely weakened from the energy and his life force will be low. It will take him days upon days to fully recover back to his full strength again. So he was brought to Master Roshi's house to be kept under Chi-Chi and Master Roshi to be safe. Now during this time, Vegeta and Nappa would try to fight Android 19. They would do pretty well actually, and double teaming on Android 19 would kind of overpower him a little bit, but Android 19 was too powerful and it was absorbing their energy. Now this is when future Gohan would rush in being enraged, and he would actually kill Android 19. Now Dr. Gero would try to run away, but Piccolo begins fighting him, and he does kind of rip off his arms, but Dr. Gero does kind of escape. Now during this time, Dr. Gero would escape and get to his lab, where he would activate the androids, Android 18 and Android 17. Now, Android 17, Android 18, they are still evil, but not as evil as the original. Now, they would obviously kill Dr. Gero, get him out of the way, and they would still bring out Android 16. Now, during this time, Cell still does come back from the future, and he is roaming about in his first form to try to find them currently. Now, obviously, Vegeta tries fighting Android 18. He does 0 damage. It's almost like when he was punching Android 13 in the movie, and it wasn't doing nothing to him. Or they're like punching like Broly in the first Broly movie. It did nothing. Now, Vegeta and Nappa, they got their asses handed to them, and they were annihilated. They had no chance. They barely escaped with their lives. Now, luckily, future Gohan can actually fight one of them, but when they both team up, it's way too much for him. It's like the original. He can hold his own. Now, on top of the fact that Kid Gohan was there, on top of that, they were pretty even in power. They were actually doing really well. They were holding off the androids, getting Piccolo to get Nappa and Vegeta away with the help of Krillin and Yamcha and Tien. Now, they would all rush back to the Kami house to try and regroup and figure out what to do here. Now, Gohan, future Gohan here, would luckily tell his past self, saying to fly away as fast as you can, I got this, and he would do a solar flare, blinding the 3 androids, as Android 16 was not fighting either way, because he wants to only fight Goku, and that is it. Now, as they would escape, they would all rush back to the Kami house to figure out what happens. Now, all of the events would happen the same, now with them wanting to use the hyperbolic time chamber, as that can increase their power. But now, sadly, some of the events are going to be switching here, because during this time, Cell would find Android 17 and 18. Now, Android 16 is very powerful, and he would try to hold up Cell. But this version of Cell is so much more stronger than the original. He would take down Android 16, not kill him, and he would luckily be able to absorb Android 17. Now, once when Android 17 is, Cell has reached his second form, semi-perfect Cell. The power was immense. They've never sensed a power like this before, ever. Now, Android 18 was luckily enough to get away with Android 16. Remember, Cell cannot sense their energy, since they don't have natural ki. They're just like infinite ki and stamina, I guess. They have different types of ki. But now this is going to be a problem. But then, Gohan has an idea. A really dumb idea, but it could work. As long as they can kind of keep Cell occupied until Goku is well enough to revive himself and kind of bring himself back to full strength again, they have to kind of lay low and kind of keep Cell sniffing around so he cannot find Android 18, and they can find a way to deactivate her. And that is it for this part, you guys. Thank you all for watching. This will actually be the first time that I'm kind of breaking the Cell arc into 2 parts for the episode. But I hope you guys enjoy it, though. I've seen you guys really love this Yamoshi's Descendant, and I'm trying my best to make it as original as possible and make it very different, as there's so much more to be done. I'm just starting the early Cell saga. So anyway, thank you guys so much for the support. Like and subscribe, and I will talk to you all later.